Smith. And we're in ancient Greece today. It's quite sunny in ancient Greece today. I hope you brought your suntan lotion. I have my sun hat and my glasses, and I'm ready to take some pictures. Should we take a picture together first? I'll take a picture of you guys first. Whether you like it or not. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Say cheese! I have like 5 pictures of you now. Yes, I put far too much effort into this stream. Also, thank you for the follow, Daniel. I was making tea while the coming soon was on, so I haven't read your comments yet. Top tier effort, I know, right? But hello everyone, hello XNO, hello Normal Size Random, hello Benjamin, hello Nimby, hello Howdy, hello the Native Gimmer, hello Rahel. Welcome. You may hear some crunchy noises because I'm snacking. Snacking on some popcorn. But yeah, look! Alright, road safety law. Oh no, we got the afternoon streams again, so Normal Size Fandom is again a terrorist society. We will be finishing at 4 today. 2 hour stream, unfortunately. Not 4 hour, for sure enough. Go regular shape, go become governor. No. I think I can get on that spear. I doubt it. But I want to try. Classes have been suspended for a week. Got hit by a double stomach. Oh my god. Terrifying. Right. I thought we'd look at the map, because there's the actual tours you can do. And last time, when we sort of did a cheeky bit of this, hello, big jump about welcome! Are you ready to learn about ancient Greek? Have a nice lurk. Hi, Chopstick. How's Greece? Hot! Let me take a picture while you hit. I didn't leave it up, did I? No, safe. I can't see OBS very well, so I don't know whether I did it. Boys are ready. Yeah! What do we want to learn about? We have, like I said, haven't done any of the tours yet. I'd like to do one of the actual tours. Where's my controller? Left bumper, right. A, continue. Ah, there we go. So, do we want to learn about daily life, politics and philosophy, art, religion or myths, famous cities, battles or wars, or urban households? What do you guys think? Did you know Greek has ancient Greek Mycenae, and Mycenae has its own Greece in Crete? Oh, fun. Yeah, I'm going to clog up the street for hours. We're going to be in everyone's way. We're going to take all the pictures, and people are going to really awkwardly have to shuffle past us because we're taking up all the room on the street. That's the plan. Don't. It suggests this one. Why not? Hi, Paper, welcome. Let's learn about daily life. Let's have a tour. You vote philosophy because you might meet Socrates. That's a good point. You make a good point. Okay, lady, I'm sorry. I don't want to talk to you. Let's go to politics. So we could do Spartan social classes. Spartan policies. Democracy in Athens. So this is probably the one if I'm going to meet Socrates, wouldn't it be? School of Greece philosophy. Yeah, British tourists, we're loud. Not quite as loud as the Americans, but we are just as annoying. We're normally a lot redder than... Wait a minute. I'm going to have to redo my model, but wait a minute. It's very important. We have a better model for this. I forgot. It's been a while. Where did my thing? I need to disappear for a moment. 1, 2, 3. Pwah! Where is it? This one. By the way, for the camera and the hat, if you would like to know where they came from, there are links in the Discord to the Steam Workshop pages for them. Just so you're aware. Hat. Where's my hat? I need my hat back. Hat. Oh, it's not called hat. It's annoying. They didn't name it hat. I need to rename it so I can find it easier. I have a few assets in my list, and there's quite a lot. La 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 la. Bear with me. Just trying to find my hat. I swear it'll be worth it. I swear. We're doing summer vibes today. Right at the end? Yeah, it's literally the bottom of the list. How wonderful. Complete with loud chewing in public? Yes! Only authenticity on this channel. Need my sunglasses back. Okay. Bah. Oh, my glasses are a little wonky now. That's better. No, they're attached to my eyelid! It's very hard to attach glasses. They either get attached to my hair or my eyelid and nothing in between. It's a baked potato! Yeah, deep fried. Yep, camera's still working. Wonderful. There we go. Right, you. We're ready. We're full tourist mode now. Let's go learn about some philosophy. It is, so I tell you, sweet and salty popcorn, because why decide when you can have both? It's only a tiny weeny flash. If it does become an issue, please let me know. We are the small gremlin again, because I love the way she runs. Hello, lady.
Welcome to the Gymnasium of the Kinosaries, one of the many places where philosophers came to enrich the mind and enlighten the spirit.
I know, we definitely should be wearing a techno. Oh, we got to. Who are you, lady?
My name is Aspasia. Though I am not originally from Athens, I have climbed to the top of its social ladder using my wit and intellect.
Queen.
I've even earned the love of Pericles, one of the most powerful men in the city. The mind truly is a beautiful thing.
There are other things about you that are beautiful, lady. I remember chat was saying the irritating thing about Athens is that they are almost as cool as the hypes themselves up, but not quite. How dare hello, darling. The Assassin's Creed games are fun, but I don't like how they slander the Pope. I don't know. I don't know enough about that.
There is no better setting for learning than in a quiet place, far away from the commotion of the city.
I was just complimenting her! But she has looks and brains. We're just complimenting. We're just complimenting a queen. Can we begin the talk, please,
Education
queen?
held a very important place in Greek society. The most prominent educators were philosophers, whose teachings ranged from everyday rituals to the makeup of the universe. Once your tour is complete, come find me, and we can discuss what you've learned. Farewell for now, wanderer.
Yes, miss.
Philosophy comes from the Greek word philosophia, or love of wisdom. This concept was in direct contrast with philochromatia, love of money, and philotimia, love of honor. As of the second half of the 5th century BCE, Athens was known as Greece's capital of philosophy. Due to the rise of democracy, there was an increasing need for education beyond the basic subjects of elementary school. Athenian citizens needed to be able to participate in various functions of the democratic state. such as being elected for office, proposing new laws,
And I love
engaging
how
in
our
military
education
decisions,
system
or
forgot all
simply
that
defending
eventually.
their rights.
Now we don't get taught any of that. They're like, oh, we need to make sure that we educate the people so they can make informed votes for our democratic system. Years later, don't educate the masses, that's stupid. I am lucky this is 600 years before the HR department, so I won't lie. Burb! Do we have an idle animation? That girl must be very strong because that bird is very big. Sorry, Burb. Gotta go. No, I wanna...
Philosophy comes from
that
the Greek
just plays
word
it again. Okay.
philosophia.
We go A to learn more. Oh, look at this guy's face. The biggest rival of philosophy are the Sophists. The philosophers try to find the truth of the universe. The Sophists will argue that any point can be convincing via rhetoric and charm. That is interesting. And it's not, neither of them are really wrong, because I mean, that's a lot of how the world works. And yet they keep teaching Pythagoras. Yes, he endures much better than any other kind of education is our good old Pythagoras. We don't want to know about his theorems, please. Tell me about taxes instead. Which I never would have said as a kid, but I do say now. One of the most popular sophist texts was On the Nature of Our Existence, where he argues we don't exist. Oh, I remember that! There's, buy my audiobook! I think it's, I don't know if it's the first book. I think it's the second book. The main character has a bit of thoughts about the sophist stuff. Because I was thinking, that sounds familiar. It's like, oh yeah, because I had to narrate something similar recently. Coughs awkwardly and engineering kind of like, if it works and you found it useful, that's fine. But teenagers don't need to know how to find the hypotenuse of a triangle. Barney's shilling already with the streamers. It's specific, okay? It reminded me of something I did, and I was like, oh, it's the audiobook! And then, yeah. Wait, I have enough points to name something, I'm not sure. Apologies, the naming thing was when I was doing game dev, and I haven't done game dev for very long. You can use it just for fun, if you want. I don't know. Nothing will really get named. We could name a tea fairy after it. I don't know. You never know when you're gonna need it. You never know. Wait, if we don't exist, who can I send all my money to? Bryony Rose Smith. And that's who you can send your money to. Anyway, just gonna give this a quick read. Greek philosophy was born in Ionia after the 7th and 6th centuries BCE. The first philosophers dedicated themselves to natural philosophy and were called Physkoi, like the fish, Physicoi, or Physiology. The discourses of the Philiskoi were written in verse, similar to the Homeric poems. But while epic poems explained the world in terms of gods and mythology, Philosophy explored more rational causes for natural phenomenon. The founder of the so-called Milesian school of natural philosophy was Thales, who declared that water was the principal substance of all things. Thales was the first to propose a material and rational element as a principle of the world. This is kind of cool. Physical koi fish. Yeah, physical koi. I think the biggest fascinating thing about this is it's like, for so long in history, we kind of just wrote things up to gods for a long time. It was so beyond us, and then like Greece was like, but what if it wasn't gods? Or the philosophers came along and was like, what if the world is just random happenstance? The Ephesian school was also interested in the natural world. Heraclitus and Ephesus posted that all things in the universe are in a state of perpetual flux, connected by a logical structure called logos. According to Heraclitus, fire was the first principle of the cosmos. Due to Persian military expansion, the political troubles, some Ionian intellectuals had to migrate and take refuge in southern Italy, such as Pythagoras, that bastard of Samos. It's been 15 minutes. Yes, cool, I can swear. I'm glitching a lot. Okay, let's try not to do that. Pythagoras founded a school in the town of Croton, where he had numerous disciples, including the legendary wrestler Milo of Croton. Pythagoras is credited with many mathematical and geonomical discoveries, and he also believed in the transmigration of the soul after the death. All these pre-Socratic philosophers were polymaths. Their philosophy was a mix of cosmology, mathematics, geometry, medicine, and ethics, and the later Sophians were inspired by all-encompassing nature of their teaching.
Love of wisdom.
Interesting.
This concept, as of the second, due to the themes such as being.
We listened to that one already. The absolute Chad was Pythagoras? No. He made everyone suffer. Little did this man know he'd be the most hated name in mathematics. By the general public, if you're like said, if you use it, and it's useful, sure, he can go in your good books, but he's going to be in everyone else's shit books. My favourite idea from this time was that Democritus, who argued that all things are made up from indivisible objects whose arrangement dedicate its nature, he called it atomos. Fucking atomic thing. It's wild! People just... Apparently this was an age where people were like, I understand science without science yet. Fun fact, what we call atoms can still be broken down. And then broken down is that into a quark. Why aren't we calling them atoms? Oh my gosh. So we can get smaller than atoms? Quantum realm is real?
Originally, Athens had no official school buildings for higher education. Sophists and philosophers taught either in private homes or in public spaces like the theater. To recruit young pupils for long-term curricula, they also held classes in gymnasia, where young Athenians underwent physical training. The Cynosarges was a sanctuary to Heracles, located in the south suburb of Athens. At the beginning of the 4th century BCE, Antisthenes used this sanctuary as a teaching spot for his school of philosophy, the aptly named Cynicism.
Oh, first person indeed. That's fuck in a different language. Pericles implemented many cultural policies that helped transform Athens into the center of Greek culture. He invited philosophers like Anaxagoras! He's from Honkai Star Rail! into the center of Greek culture. He invited philosophers like Anaxagoras and Protagoras, as well as other intellectuals, together in the city. As a result, many great philosophers were born in Athens, the most famous of which were Socrates and Plato. The philosophical talent in Athens attracted pupils from all over the Greek world. For example, Aristippus came from Crete to follow Socrates' teachings, while Diogenes came from Sinope to study under Antisthenes. Crazy how ancient Greeks put pop culture references in their culture. I know, right? How did they know about the Honkai Star Rail character Anaxagoras? Fun fact, Plato is not his actual name. Plato was his wrestling name! He was an Olympic gold medalist, and we don't know his actual name, but would be like The Rock. So became a scholar. Yeah, Mr. Johnson, Dwayne Johnson. What? Is that real? That's crazy. Plato. The Plato is cooking. That's amazing. Originally, philosophers and sophists taught in private houses, gymnasiums, or public spaces. I think that's basically what she said. During the 4th BCE, permanent schools of philosophy began appearing in Athens, with Plato's Academy and Aristotle's Lyceum. Being the first philosophical institutions, the school included gardens, rooms for teachers, students, and guests, and a library. However, not all philosophers approved of institutional education. Case in point, Diogenes, the cynic, who lived in a barrel and delivered his teachings in public space. Good for you, you homeless smart fart. Plato roughly translates to the broad man. Oh my god. Yeah, Plato was his nickname from Broad Shoulders. I thought this was real. Oh my god, that's so funny. During the 5th and 4th centuries BCE, Athens was filled with philosophers, books, debates, and ideas. This lasted until the 6th century CE, when the last philosophers of Athens were expelled by an edict from the Byzantine Empire. Justinian. Fascinating. Imagine how good a wrestler he must have been if he was one of the top philosophers of the era. Still known by his wrestling name. True! I'm glad you're having so much fun, Harry. It's really fun when you're like, oh, I know this thing! I know this thing!
Any free citizen was allowed to involve themselves in the Athenian democratic process. However, to truly influence the flow of politics, their speech and rhetoric skills had to be impeccable. As a result, many sophists taught subjects like logic, reason, and eloquence. These were meant to help students achieve arete, or excellence. But this specific concept of excellence was often challenged, especially by other philosophers. For example, Plato, Socrates, and Isocrates preferred a more moral approach and argued that rhetoric should be used as a means to serve the greater good. Socrates and Plato went even further, declaring that philosophy and wisdom were not only useful tools, but also ethical virtues.
Small carrier, the free sitting, 80% of the population are slaves. Yeah. This is a game where you can throw your hat at people and take them over, right? Yes, definitely. But we're in the educational mode. Also, Peblians were not free citizens, so like most people were not actually free citizens of Rome. Not Rome, Greece. Don't get confused. Let's see. Socrates was born in 469 BCE. His philosophy can be summarized by his exemplary lifestyle. When he was 40, the oracle at Delphi said Socrates was the wisest of all living men. He was puzzled by this statement because he believed he knew nothing. The wisest of men will not believe that they are the wisest of men. That is true. If you believe you are wise, you are a fool. When he was... I believe he knew nothing. And from then on, He began an investigation into the truth of the oracle's words by searching for someone wiser than him. In Athens, he questions famous people of all professions to test their knowledge. He went to politicians, orators, poets, rhapsodes and sophists, and their conversations were always the same. Using irony and refutation, he proved these arrogant specialists did not know what they thought they knew. He also tried convincing his fellow citizens to scorn money, honor and prestige, and to instead focus on improving the wealth of their souls. Philosophy was Socrates' only occupation. He never wrote any books, and preferred to teach orally. Unfortunately, this did not make him much money, and he allegedly spent his whole life in poverty, wearing the same coat and always travelling barefoot. The public nature of Socrates' work made him a lot of enemies, and generated hatred from Athenians who did not agree with his ideas. However, he also attracted many young Athenians who admired his outspokenness and intelligence. Some of his younger pupils, such as Plato and Xenophon, went on to write their own philosophical works. In 399 BCE, the city of Athens charged Socrates with 2 offences: not believing in the city's gods and corrupting the youth. He was sentenced to death! Oh lord. Could you imagine how many people on TikTok could get sentenced to death if that was a thing? Not believing in God and corrupting the youth. That is the biggest thing that gets thrown in the way of the woke and more progressive people. It's funny. And condemned to drink a poisonous beverage of hemlock. During this stay in prison, some friends tried to convince him to escape. But Socrates refused. He got absolutely cancelled. He got very permanently cancelled. But Socrates refused, preferring to comply with the city's laws. Wise to the end, Socrates chose to die instead of giving up his philosophical lifestyle. God damn, bro. Dr. Seuss' reasoning. Exactly. Socrates didn't want to write down his teaching because he believes that ideas will die when put into paper, because paper does not discuss or talk back to be examined. You're not wrong. He was a very wise man. The funny thing about that death sentence in Greek, the defendant and accuser give what punishment they want. Everyone thought Socrates would give himself a lighter sentence because they don't want him to. But Socrates said, "Give me the poison." Socrates was like, "Baller, yeah, bet for the bit." Hey, my paper's always dog to me.
Ancient Greek philosophy was multidisciplinary in nature. In addition to wisdom and logic, philosophers also studied and taught math, geometry, music theory, and even medicine. For example, the philosopher Prodicus wrote a treatise called On Human Nature, where he outlined various explanations on human physiology. Philosophy's influence was also great enough to affect medicine. Hippocratic physicians were known to incorporate philosophical ideas into their work. And the treatise On Airs seems to be influenced by pre-Socratic theories on air being the first principle of the universe.
Haven't we heard 3 things being the first principle of the universe now? We've heard water, fire, and air. Bro, we just want you to stop. No, give me death! Give me philosophy or give me death! The importance of philosophy. The Platonic Academy was founded in 388 and 387 BCE outside the walls of Athens. The medical field was hampered for 3,000 years because of Aristotle's theory. of the four humours. Ugh. Philosophy wins some and lose some. Its entrance had an inscription that said, "Let no man enter who has not studied geometry." And it is clear from the Platonic dialogues that Pluto and his school spent lots of time studying math. Many mathematicians and geometers taught or worked in Plato's school, including Arctas and Pythagorean, that bastard, and Eudoxus of Kindos, a geometer and astronomer. All my homies hate the four humours. We ain't got that many humours. We're not that funny. The Academy gave students the opportunity to develop new theories in mathematics and astronomy. For example, Exodus, devised mathematical models of the planetary motions, and Spesippos, Plato's nephew, and eventual successor as head of the Academy, conceived a model of the physical universe that involved geometric figures. Fun fact, doctors were considered a very low prestige profession for the longest time, until they appropriated the name doctor from PhDs, Doctors of Philosophy. That's so wild, because it's not like doctors and healers haven't been, like, always as important. I guess because, like, if medicine wasn't as effective, then doctors weren't as useful. Therefore, you wouldn't care so much if a doctor, like, you wouldn't see as much value in a doctor as we do now. I also want to take a picky of these lions. They're very cool. Where's my knowledge about the lions? Because the doctors successfully cure patients very
The famed philosopher Socrates had an ambiguous relationship with sophists. In Plato's dialogues, Socrates is portrayed as being in constant opposition with the famous sophists of his time. Aristophanes' comedy, The Clouds, meanwhile, depicts Socrates as a sophist himself, constantly demanding payment for his teachings. Socrates was in fact very poor and made no money off his teachings. He also differed from the sophists in that while they only taught aristocratic youths, Socrates taught everyone, regardless of station.
like the Brodians.
Unfortunately, his controversial ideas and practices did not sit well with the city of Athens, and he was eventually tried for impiety.
Is that the one-word summary of what we read? Is this Socrates? Hello! Oh, sorry. Are you supposed to be Socrates? Hi. I am a shrew. I would like to learn the philosophy, but also there's a dog who is peeing on a man. Dog? I don't think you should be doing that. Why did they give you this animation? Why do you actually have a pee stream? Why are you peeing? Assassin's Creed devs, what the hell? Ah yes, let's get this let's pay this animator to animate this dog peeing. And get the coders to code in a dog pee. What the fuck? Someone had to model that pee stream. I know, right? What a waste of time. Yeah. Grand texture, yep. So, that was a good few hours of work put into that pee stream, and I just wonder. One philosophy, please. Extra ketchup, no onions.
The famed philosopher
Socrates and the Sophists. Oh, I see how they got Socrates' design, if that's him. I know what people want, and it's dogs peeing on people! No, thank you. It's like hearing about, remember when that, like, I think it was Red Dead 2 when that was getting developed, and they were like, they're gonna put realistic horse balls in there. It's like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Nowadays, the term sophist has negative connotations and refers to the use of bad and fallacious arguments. This pejorative view of the word can be tracked back to Plato, who saw sophists as his main adversaries. However, sophist is actually derived from Sophia, the Greek word for wisdom, and originally meant wise man. It's not dogs peeing on people, it's dogs peeing on philosophers! I see, slightly different. They're arguing whether they could as people. That's true, they were probably in the office going like, should we do a dog peeing? As philosophers, the world deserves dogs peeing on people. I don't even know what I'm saying sometimes, and it's great. You understand, Bryony? I need my realistic horse balls, otherwise I can't fully immerse myself in a yeehaw cowboy game. My god, what will we do? I will never understand. Never. And I feel sorry for anyone who got assigned that as part of their job working. Well, I send love to any developer or artist that got assigned horse balls and dogs peeing. In ancient Greece, the sophists represented a new professional group that made a living off teaching specialized subjects like rhetoric and persuasion. Their instruction was meant to encourage critical thinking about topics like morality, politics, and religion. However, the sophists were not an organized collective, and members taught their own individual beliefs. Why does that somehow sound like a ye old social media? The sophists were like, here's my minions meme about the current councilman. I don't know. It's not a Yee-Haw cowboy game, it's a horseball simulator with cowboy. Must be one hell of a story to tell your friends, like, yeah, I animated the horseballs, yeah. Like, you're probably under NDA for, like, quite a while, because obviously you can't leak what you're working on if you're working on a game, but as soon as it comes out, you can be like, I did that! Which bit? You're pointing at the horseballs! Yeah, I did that. It's like when I worked for a company, and sometimes I see people using some of the stuff I built when I go to the places of that company, and I'm like, I did that. That's me. I hope it still works. No, leaky balls. Nope, leaky balls is bad for you, and you should go see a doctor if you have leaky balls. Sophists are ye old influencers. Yes. I'm glad I've got the right vibe. Because they are taught in return for a fee, sophist schools were only attended by those who could afford it, usually members of the aristocracy and wealthy families. However, they also showcased their skills at different public events. For example, the sophist Gorgias once delivered Athens' annual funeral orientation honoring the victims of war, and Hippas presented at Olympia on multiple occasions. Literally influencers. They pulled in the people who are popular and have the big followers to do big events. That's literally, that happens in real life, that's real. Protagoras of Abdera is generally considered as the first professional sophist. He trained his pupils to argue from both points of view because he believed that truth could not be limited to one side of an argument. We've seen that too on the internet. But to be fair, you've always got that one friend, haven't you? But like to be fair, think about it from the other side. And that sort of person. That's him. That's him. He claimed to be able to make the weaker argument stronger, and is the author of the famous saying, man is the measure of all things, meaning truth is relative and differs according to each individual. Nice, thank you. We're on holiday in Greece, so I brought my tourist stuff. Hi, Boris. Gonna work while working. Excited for some education. Wonder who the ancient Greek Logan Paul was. If he was a massive bellend too. The sophists probably were bellends because they sound like bellends to me. Yeah, people don't quite realize what people did for fun back in the day without social media and books. They had a lot of fun, actually. Yeah, they did. He also opposed traditional religious values by defending an agnostic view of the gods, saying, "Concerning the gods, I have no means of knowing whether they exist or not, nor of what sort they may be, because of the obscurity of the subject and the brevity of human life." Oh, that's a good way to get around the law. Like, yes, the gods are mysterious, therefore, I don't know. Alexander the Great's Logan Paul. Oh my god. I am blinding ancient Greek. We're taking pictures. Take a picture of Socrates. Socrates, smile!
Socrates had an ambiguous.
We had that. We read this. We should take a picture. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this guy's supposed to be Socrates. Hi! Let's take a picture together! Yay! Next in the Garden of Learning!
Philosophy was not only a collection of ideas, but a way of life. According to philosopher Pierre Hadot, his ancient counterparts had a daily regime of spiritual exercises to combat their passions, doubts, and illusory beliefs. These exercises included meditation on death, contemplation of nature, or speaking with a friend or mentor. Philosophers also followed specific dress codes and diets. They were also part of a community of masters and students. These communities were created and strengthened in schools. Plato founded such a school in the early 4th century BCE, when he purchased a property in a grove just outside of Athens. The school was designed to groom students into philosopher citizens who could eventually rule the city in a measured and fair manner. It followed its own rules and was open to both male and female disciples.
They let women learn! Oh, heck yeah! While Socrates shoved lanterns into other Greek wise guys, Brandy shoves cameras. Yeah! What, does that make me a sophist? Why a sophist? Classical philosophers. Aristotle was born in 384 BCE in Stagria. He came to Athens at the age of 17 and studied under Plato at the academy. He spent some 20 years in the school until Plato's death in 347 BCE after travelling through Greece. He settled at the court of Philip II of Macedon and in 343 BCE to tutor a young Alexander the Great. Aristotle came back to Athens in 335 BCE to set up his own school in Lycian, which became the city's second centre of learning. The members of his school were called peripantics, or those who walk around. This was either because Aristotle taught while walking around the premises, or because there was a covered walkway called the peripatos in the gymnasium of the school. Oh, they even had a fan name! They did! Oh my god. Peri the platypus! At Lycian, Aristotle set up a library that would become the model for the Library of Alexandria. Research took place on a large scale, as evidenced by the titles of Aristotle's books. He engaged in physics, philosophy, politics, zoology, and literature, Famous disciples also participated in his research programs. Theophrastus of Eros wrote on botany and stones. Eudemos of Cyprus composed a history of mathematics, and Aristoxenos of Tarentum wrote a book on harmonics. After the death of Alexander, Aristotle was denounced for impiety and had to flee Athens. That's familiar! He took refuge in Euboea, where he died in 322 BCE. For Aristotle, happiness was the ultimate goal in life, and money, honor, and pleasure were only means to reach that happiness, not ends in themselves. Furthermore, since it's a rationality that disguises humans from plants and animals, our purpose and function is to use reason. A happy life is thus a life of reason, and according to Aristotle, the life of theoretical inquiry is the happiest of them all. There we go, I just told you how to be happy. You have found some very good info here. Think we can take them in a fight? In a fight, right? Aristotle's also kind of misogynist. Yeah, I mean, probably most men at this point were. Like I said, I was kind of surprised that they let people in. Everyone knows brains in the genitalia. Exactly. I don't know. That's why I was kind of surprised about the whole Plato letting ladies in. I read this, The Great Nicomachean Ethics. Ah, his book? You read Aristotle's book? Cool. To be fair, there was a lot less history to learn back then. It makes writing about it a lot easier. True! The life of theoretical inquiry is the happiest of them all. Aristotle, Smith. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what my channel's done. Especially recently, we've been doing a lot of, not theoretical inquiry, but we've been doing a lot of intellectual inquiry. Okay, you have a, like, circle below you. What does that mean? Hit him! What does your circles mean? Oh, hi, it's the tour over. I have learned things.
I can tell by the crease in your brow that you're already puzzling over the new things you've learned. Don't be embarrassed. Even the wisest among us need to ask questions before they search for answers. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Well, I can take a quiz. Oh, Lord. At the end of each tour, you have the option to take a short, light-hearted quiz. Right or wrong, your host will tell you more about each answer you give. Tours for which you have completed the quiz will have a quiz complete status. Go! Why not? Give me a tour. Give me a quiz.
You wish to test your wisdom?
I do.
Very well. Let's see how you compare to the great philosophers. The first question is an easy one. What does philosophia mean?
Oh. Love of wisdom.
Correct.
Yeah.
Philosophia referred to the love of wisdom. Time for the next question. The Kynosarges was a sanctuary dedicated to which Greek hero?
Heracles.
Correct. It was the mighty Heracles. Now, for the last question. Which play by Aristophanes portrayed Socrates as a sophist?
Oh. Clouds? What was Clouds?
Yes.
Yeah!
The Clouds was a comedy that portrayed the famous philosopher as a greedy sophist. Plato even believed that this caricature contributed to his mentor's eventual trial and execution. Well done, wanderer. Even Socrates would be impressed by the depths of your wisdom.
was fun. There's a random button. Random tour. Go.
I'd love to. Please, come with me.
Let's go, lady. Take me to the next place. 2 funny Diane stories. When he saw an orphan drinking water with their hands, he looked at the cup he owns and went, I've been living in luxury, and threw his cup away and lived in a barrel. What? He didn't just, give his cup to the kids? That would have made more sense. What a wild guy. Those are some deep thoughts. A simple man wonder, where are my Doritos? Clever men wonder, why my Doritos? How my Doritos? Another is when Diogenes was about to die, he told his pupils to just dump his body in the wilderness. Let me feed the animals! What a wild guy. Aw, I'm glad you've been enjoying it. I'm having a good time too. Because I was so excited to play this. I'm glad we got some time today. Oh, I could be a new person! Should we shapeshift? Shape-shifting into this lady. Real Athenian statesman and military commander has a cunning mind behind his golden locks. Why does he look so fabulous? He looks so, feminine. Nah, we're a small gremlin, and that's why we are. Behold, a man. It's one of my favorite animals. Oh yeah, with the chicken. Yes, I love the chicken one. We cannot be the horse. The horse is my mount, not a thingy. It really wants me to do the urban household thing, but sure, let's go.
Greetings, Wanderer.
Greetings!
It is my pleasure to introduce you to a unique tour. One that won't take you to impressive landmarks or famous battle sites, but through a typical Athenian home.
Who was the Greek nihilist guy that ate out of a dog bowl? I don't know. What do you think of this place, lady?
If Olympus is Zeus's sanctuary, then my house is my own. It is a place where I can shelter myself from the noise and stress of city life.
Let's begin the tour.
For an outgoing people like the Greeks, the house was a refuge of privacy. Inside, they could escape from the constant demands of civic life to enjoy the simple pleasures of family life. Look for me when you are done, and we can discuss the things you've seen. Farewell for now.
I think it's very interesting. We have obviously just, in our Sunday streams, read quite a lot about how, at least the Roman house is put together. And obviously that's very influenced by Greek. So I'm very interested to see how this, how this is compared to, words. Come on, words. You got this. Pompeii learning. That's it. According to Diogenes is not a nihilist. He was a cynic, but nihilism is an offshoot of cynics. That's true. Street cleaning. Despite the luxuriousness of public buildings, the streets of Athens were, for the most part, narrow and tortuous. Nevertheless, efforts were made to improve urban planning, such as in the 5th century BCE, when architect Hippodamus of Miletus created a grid plan of the city with parallel streets and rectangular intersections. Greek cities in the 5th century BCE also became more sanitary thanks to innovations like clean running water and sewers for waste removal. The Athens streets and public places were placed in the care of special magistrates known as astinomi, or police officers. The principal duty of these officials was to keep the streets and sanctuaries clean and organize the efficient disposal of garbage outside the city walls. So you're telling me that police officers used to be garbage men? Used to be. Hit, hit, hit. Rome, inputs of the Greek. What? We'll see how much, because obviously we know pretty much in detail a lot about a Roman city house. So I'm very curious about a Greek city house.
The house, or oikos, was a residence for Greek families and their slaves. Contrary to modern houses, which look outward, the Greek household was built to look inward on a courtyard. The courtyard was the house's central fixture. It was the building's main source of daylight, and also the location of religious altars dedicated to worship. The building itself was made up of familiar accommodations, including bedrooms, storage rooms, a kitchen, and a living room. Women were generally in charge of tending to the home, which in Greece was called oikonomia, a term that inspired the modern word economy.
Oh. Well, that's interesting. Garbage men do a lot for our health, and we should all appreciate our garbage men. They do a tough-ass job. It's very physical. Like, I don't know what the hours to do, I'm not gonna lie. But very physical, very stinky, they have to deal with some shit. Sometimes quite literally. Always respect your garbage men. Plague is a very real threat back in the day, so improper poop disposal is life and death. True. Gotta deal with your shit. A Greek house. Certain rooms in Greek households were reserved exclusively for women and female slaves. These rooms were known as gynecontis or gynecon. These gynecon were entirely separated from the men's section of the home, the Arden, by a strong door, and were frequently situated in the house's upper stories. Men often hosted drinking parties called symposia in their section of the house. Women, meanwhile, kept to their section to pursue activities like tending to their appearance, looking after children, spinning and weaving, and playing musical instruments. You know, just women things. Having to wake up that early, then dedicating it, then dealing with other people's rubbish, big respect. Honestly, yes. To be honest, I have a lot of respect for, like, a lot of low-pay jobs that absolutely deserve more. Like, anyone in, like, a fast food restaurant, holy shit, that's awful. You gotta get those orders out so fast, you don't have time to make a mistake, you're just gonna go, 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 go. It's awful. It's awful being in a fast food restaurant. And then obviously I'm doing hotel cleaning at mum, so, like, I know how hard that one is, personally. An interesting thought is that the design of ancient home is particularly affected by the lack of permanent light fixtures we have now. That's why they had a big open area for their electricity. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they don't have light switches, and like you would want to avoid fire where possible. Like a lot of British homes, like we're in a place that doesn't get a lot of natural light, and it gets very dark in the winter, so it's not surprising that our houses were built around the idea of being able to safely have fire sources, whereas they're in a hotter country and somewhere that gets more light, so you wouldn't want to have fire on all the time, so you want something that's going to bring in that natural light. Indeed. It also limited the floors of homes, since light can't reach parts of the home if it's so big. Fun fact, the word androgynous is the Greek word for man, andros, and woman, gynos. Stuck together. Oh, that's fun. Why did it take me so long to realise? It's one of those, you just don't think of it, do that. Great Fire of London. The British are very aware of fire hazards. It did. London Bridge is burning down, burning down, burning down. London Bridge is burning down, my fair lady. Avoid fire, but fire is the principal thing of the universe! Unless it was air, water, earth, chaos, whatever. Yeah, we don't know. They had a lot of ideas on what the principal thing of the universe was. Oh, hello, what's in this? Pericles! This is Pericles' home. Pericles, at the deathbed of his son, oil painting by Felix Henry Gasponti. Hercules home. Hercules. Only an hour late from packing up the house. That's oh, you moving, Chase? I hope you have a smooth move. It was earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Oh, the alchemical ones. Yeah. The triangles. Pericles was one of the most influential men in Athenian politics during the second half of the 5th century BCE. Historians even refer to the period he was in power as the Age of Pericles. Athens flourished under Pericles' leadership. With his guiding hand, the Delian League transformed into the Athenian Empire, and all the League's members were made to regularly pay tribute to the city. Because of this new income, Athenians was able to erect extravagant monuments on the Acropolis, such as the famous Parthenon. During the Peloponnesian War, Pericles' strategy was to conduct a naval war, preferring to keep himself within the walls of Athens. However, as a consequence of the city's overpopulation, a plague spread through the population and killed many people, including Pericles himself. Yeah. Actually, the bad name was Earthwind Fire. No idea where I'm going. We have 2 months to pack up and sell everything. But oh no! Chase, that's shit. Well, I hope for the best. I hope things work out. That's really crap. Let's try to distract you from it with some education. Did you know the earliest complete music we have is called Sicilia's Epitaph? It sang about the limited time we have on Earth, and we must spend it wisely. It was found in the grave of his wife. You mean the lady showing us around? Hi, Fry Guy. Should we take a picture of him? Yeah. Titty. Gods of the household. Priam, king of Troy, takes refuge at the altar of Zeus Hercules. He is attacked by Ptolemos before his wife Hecuba, seen from red figure amphora. Gods of the household. The Greek household was protected by many gods. Zeus Hercaeus, or Zeus of the Fence, was worshipped at a courtyard altar and supposedly protected that house from outside aggressors. Zeus Caesos, Zeus of the property, was linked to a house's family and their wealth. He was represented by a 2-handled jar wrapped in a white woolen fillet and filled with various seeds, water, and olive oil. Other gods include Hestia, who was the eponymous goddess of the domestic hearth, as well as Hermes and Apollo, who are both mentioned as being guardians of the front door. Representations of Heracles were also known to stand near houses, possibly to protect them from crime and the forces of evil. Well, no, she said she was her husband, her wife, his. Bleh! She said at the start she was Pericles' wife. So it's the lady that's showing us around. Zeus Quesos, god, the Zeus of Mexican cheese, yes. I am finding it interesting between this and the Pompeii one. I didn't know that there were different... I knew that there was a lot of different versions of Greek gods, but I didn't realize they had specific names. I didn't realize that we had a Zeus of the fence and a Zeus of the property. Obviously, like, pop culture-wise, we just know Zeus. Hera, like the goddess, and Clis. Heracles. He was named that way to stop Hera's rage. Didn't work though, did it? She only liked Jason. Yeah, like Venus Panamania, which was Pompey's one, so that carried on into Roman things. The Roman gods also got like suffixes, which taught us some things. Photo mode? I already have my photos, thank you. I don't need photo mode. It's like, would you like to take a picture of Titty? No, I'm okay, thank you.
A pasta was a corridor that connected a house's courtyard to its residential section. Archaeological evidence from the city of Olynthos reveals that pastas were added to Greek home design in the 5th century BCE.
Pasta. It's a fig! Guys, it's a fig! Pasta mentioned, not noodles, don't you fucking start with that. It's a fig! A theory as to why they have so many suffixes and titles is because they added some to fit their poetic timings by using titles of differing lengths. Oh, that's fun. I know, the day is complete. We normally have to wait till Sundays for figs, but no. We got a free fig today. Greek houses were built on foundations of stone with mud bricks and woodwork. Their floors were packed mud, with the exception of an anderon, which had a tiled floor, and their roofs were composed of tiles. In cities, houses were positioned next to one another, and usually had a room or shop that opened up onto the street. I love how, like, houses had built-in shops. Like, honey, I don't want this vase anymore. Stick it in the shop, dearie. We'll make some money. I don't know if that happened, but that sounds like something that would happen. We should have asked Socrates about the classification of pasta and noodles. Yeah. It's, for his safety, probably best not asking that question, honestly. Because if he gives me the wrong answer, then, yeah, I might give him the poison again. Windows were normally only found on the first floor, but rooms were arranged so the air could circulate through them from the open courtyard. The houses were heated with braziers of charcoal, which also helped light surrounding rooms. Furniture, meanwhile, was very simple and consisted of couches, chairs, folding stools, tables, blankets, and cushions. Archaeological evidence also suggests that many other tools and objects were kept in the home, including vases, sieves, cauldrons, and basins. So we got 1, that's the living room. 2, the pasta, not the noodles. 3, the court, so that's the sort of bit that has the open roof. 4 is the kitchen. 5 is the stairs. No, 6 is the stairs, 5's the kitchen, 4's the entrance. So you come in here, and there's a pasta, and maybe one of these is the shop. Men's rooms, women's rooms, and pasta. So far, that's all we know. Speaking of figs, my fig tree is sprouting its first fruit. So I got tons of figs. Yay! You have figs! Or what if the bastard squirrels would keep them? Damn it. Wait, I have strawberry plants in my garden, and we always forget to pick the strawberries. And I'm like, shrug, it's fine. The birds or something will eat them. And then they never eat them. I'm like, for fuck's sake, I don't want them. Just eat them. I'm going to forget they're there. Take them. I don't know. I don't know how we got from pasta to consuming it en masse. Maybe we'll find out if we continue the tour. Yeah, so this is the... Oh, this is nice. A little altar. Got the sun coming in. Family altar. Young man pouring a libation over an altar. A scene from a red figure cup. Religion was an important aspect of Greek private life. Though the walls of the house provided physical protection, the family needed divine protection as well, for this they turned to Zeus. Every house had an altar dedicated to Zeus. Herkios of the fence. Zeus of the fence. That the family could worship by offering sacrifices and libations in the god's honour. Sacrifices were also performed in the house on special occasions like weddings, births, or for the festival of Zeus. Quesos. Zeus of the cheese. It does sound like it when I say it, doesn't it? Oh, is the K silent? Is it Tesos? Tesias? I don't know. The Greek dramaticist Meander mentions that worshippers would circle the altar with sacrificial tools like a vessel of holy water. They sprinkled the water around the altar to purify it, then began the sacrifice proper. Household sacrifices could be animals, but also offerings of incense and vegetables. The ceremony of amphidromia? Kitisios. The famous Greek dramaticist Nianas, yes. Fun fact, we have found wooden slips with curses written on buried beneath ancient Greeks' homes. They are all addressed Hades and Persephone, asking them to curse someone. That's wonderful. The witches were always there. The witches are always on it, asking gods to do nasty stuff. Amphitryon celebrated the presentation of a newborn and might have taken place in the courtyard. The ceremony was held when the baby was 5 days old and symbolized its acceptance into the family. Friends were invited to the occasion, and the house's exterior was decorated differently depending on the sex of the child. Olive branches indicated a boy, while garlands of wool signaled a girl. The most central part of the amphidromia was the circling the house's hearth with the newborn, followed by the presenting of the child to both the house's gods and the rest of the family. The newborn also received their name during the ceremony. Oh, I see. So it's something like a christening. Something similar. The old times most certainly had a godly version of Reddit. They also had a normal version of Reddit. It was the sophists. Where's the next part of the tour? I got confused.
Greeks had no qualms about combining their work and their private lives, and many of them worked from home. Artisans like blacksmiths, sculptors, and potters often had workshops in their houses. Some even operated small stores to sell their work. Similarly, doctors were known to treat patients in special offices located in their homes. Women also worked in the house and were responsible for making textiles, as well as producing clothes and supervising weaving, which was carried out by slaves. If the household was wealthy enough, they could even produce a surplus of textiles to sell in times of financial difficulty.
Work from home initiative was all the way back in Greece. We should all work from home. I mean, I guess when, like, building is such an issue as well, because, I mean, like, they don't have, like, cranes and all the stuff we have for heavy lifting. Why make extra buildings to specifically work in when you have a good enough home, right? Athenians supported themselves by carrying out a wide array of commercial and industrial activities. Most of the time, there was no distinction between where people worked and where they lived. For example, the Aristophanes comedy Lysistrata, the character of the tavern keeper is shown serving wine in his own residence. Similarly, according to Demosthenes, the general Conon ran an entire business in his house. Teachers could even have schools inside their homes, such as the father of Ascians, who taught an elementary school in his house. Oh, so like not even just like craftspeople, like teachers. Obviously, they mentioned doctors, but crazy. Does that mean if you had different teachers, you'd have to like go across town to get to the next teacher? You know how you had to go to different classrooms for different subjects? You have to do that, but you have to go to different teachers' houses. I'm just going to Mr. Jones's house for next lesson. You better run or you'll be late. Fascinating. So this is the little creation bit. Is it just trying to guide me? Be like, oh, look at this, it's a thing. Windows. Should we learn about Windows? Not the software, the hardware. While Greek houses had windows, they usually looked out onto the central courtyard, as opposed to the outside streets. They were placed either on the first floor or on high walls, so passers-by couldn't peek inside. The windows were small and without glass, and were often made of wood, but could also be simple holes in the wall. Some windows had massive stone lintels and embrasures. The windows were probably closed by means of wooden shutters, large grills of wood or metal, or stone slabs. Well, that's the grills they've got going on there, isn't it? That's the fashion they've got. Excuse me, sir, let me ruin your party. Run away!
The inner courtyard was the nexus of the house. Functionally, it allowed air to circulate and also provided access to most of the rooms. It also sometimes housed a well or a cistern that collected rainwater. In the center of the courtyard was an altar to Zeus Hercules, who served as the protector of the household. Women would often use the space to sew and cook, while children used it as a play area. Furthermore, if the family had pets or animals, the courtyard was where they were allowed to run free.
So basically, this was kind of the heart. As much as that was the heart, this was like where people actually went to mix. Also, I skipped. I probably should have waited to read this when we got here. Oh well.
The bathroom was located in the back of the house. Much like today, it was used for cleaning and washing, although the Greeks used chamber pots instead of toilets. Most bathrooms had a luterion that could be filled with water for washing. Mirrors, razors, strigils, and sponges could also be found in the bathroom, along with small vases called arebaloi, which were usually filled with perfume or oil.
Bathroom. So the bath's nice. So are those all toilets then? Gotta poop in a jar. But then, like, do they not have something to throw it out of over there? So I guess they've got to go outside to throw out their poop. They've got to like carry it in the jar and throw it out. That sounds like a lot of work. teeny feet. Lotarion. I suppose that's the origin of the word loot. Probably! Heck yeah, it is. Lou, the Lotarion. Makes sense. Why is there stuff on the floor? Why is this floating? Why is there a... No, I don't know. I don't know. Game is not smart sometimes.
Greek homes had kitchens where the family's meals were prepared.
The slaves to carry the food
Greeks
jars
did
through.
not often eat meat, except during special occasions like banquets or after sacrifices. They had mainly a grain-based diet, eating staples such as bread, porridge, or a barley cake called maza. They also occasionally ate poultry, fish, and other seafood,
An octopus!
as well as fruits, vegetables, goat milk and cheese, and olive oil. Food was cooked on a tripod, or sometimes in a klibanos, which was a sort of mobile oven. Other cooking implements included braziers, mortars and pestles, a spit to hold food over a fire, platters, and frying pans. The family also used the kitchen to store food in containers called pithoi.
I mean, if you have bread, then you have a sandwich. There's no way they didn't put stuff on the bread. Like, it would be very silly. I don't know. I don't know how a human could see a slice of bread and not put something on it. I don't know whether that's just because I've been conditioned to know no sandwiches my entire life, or if it is a sandwich truly human nature? Also, I've been skipping things. Let's go back a minute. Go back a minute. I read that, didn't I? Yeah, we read that. I just want to make sure I'm reading all the things. Is there anything extra to read in the toilet? I want to learn everything. What did you miss? Aww, well, I hope your mum's having a good time. We're gonna learn about the toilet.
The bath much
No,
most
there isn't
mirrors.
there's the learn more button. Learn more! Learn more about the poop! Bathroom. The Greeks viewed their hair as a symbol of life and strength. Originally, hair loss signified old age or disease, and the shortening or shaving of hair symbolized a loss of freedom. That explains why a lot of, like, Greek representations we have longer hair. Like, a lot of them, like, men with longer hair, and that makes a lot of sense. During the archaic period, men who had long hair were associated with the aristocracy. In the 5th century BCE, however, it became fashionable for men to wear their hair short. Oh, it's fine, don't worry, fashion came in for short hair. Usually, the curls or short strands. Women, meanwhile, had long hair held together by nets, pins, or bands. The classical period saw the appearance of even more looks, like the Lampadian hairstyle, which involved bounding hair upwards in a way that was reminiscent of a burning flame. Similarly, there was also the melon-style bun, in which hair was tightened to form a braided crown, and a Greek bun with a high knot. Oh, melon. Oh, that might not work. Rose change might not work with this model, I do apologize, but I will do something. I'll get it to work. We will have one more color. Aha. No, that's cat ears! Why did the cat ears go? That's not right. Oh, look how you didn't pay it. Well, you did, I guess, pay something. Oh, I don't have it. Yeah, this model doesn't have it. This model was like before. Give us back the cat. No, I'm not a cat. Cat incorrect. Could have bunny ears. I think this is cute. This works on the hat. There we go. You can have this instead of the rose for today. That will work, yeah. Okay, and then what about the kitchen? Blah, 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 blah. I want to learn more! There we go. Oh, look at the models. That's cute. Cat. She's a kitty cat. Cat. It's a kitty cat. Bunny. Summon content bunny member. See, it worked! The bunny trigger worked! It just worked before you even used it. Not just any bunny girl brownie, sunburned tourist bunny girl brownie. According to Hippocrates, some Greeks ate one meal a day, but others ate two. The main meal was called Dipinon, and was eaten in the evening, while the second possible meal was called Ariston, and was normally eaten around noon. The Depion was made of 3 parts: a cereal staple called sitos, a main dish called opson, and potos, otherwise known as wine. The opson usually consisted of meat or fish, while the wine was served with desserts like dried fruits, nuts, and cake. The Greek diet was based on the Mediterranean triads: grain, grapes, and olives. No, they don't even have normal breakfast, let alone second breakfast. You've lost me at the Warhammer.
Kitchens, where the family's meals were they also fruit other
yeah. I read that bit. Fascinating. So, I mean, I guess, oh no. Maybe because their diet was so carb heavy, they didn't need to eat as much. Or maybe they snacked a lot. Or maybe we've been brainwashed
Symposia
to need more
were
food.
major social institutions in Greece. They were drinking parties held exclusively for men. The party took place in the men's section of the house, the andron, where residents and guests reclined on special couches called klinai. Food was served on low tables set in front of the couches, while wine was placed in a crater in the center of the room. During a symposium, men drank, sang, had philosophical discussions, and played games like kotobos. Musicians, dancers, and even courtesans were often welcomed to attend as well. However, wives and daughters were always excluded.
Boys club. No wives and daughters in the boys club. I know, because I did for one of the Moon Girl books. I did a lot of research on medieval England, because there was some stuff that happens. But one of the things was that women were very much in charge of making alcohol. They had to make ale because, like you said, it was the safest thing to drink because water was shit. So everyone was pissed all the time because alcohol was so much safer to drink than anything else. Synopsum. The most popular party game at the Synopsia was Katabos. The game consisted of flicking an almost empty wine cup to protect the remainder of the wine at a specific target. The target was generally a terracotta vessel, either floating in the bowl of water or balanced on a stand, and the objective of the game was to use the wine dregs to sink the vessel or knock it down. So they were like, symposium! Ah, thank you. Yeah, I think it was generally weaker, but the kids were drinking it too. No girls allowed in the blanket fort. Boo! We'll go make our own blanket fort. Without strippers. And with better catapults. Another popular symposium game involved the singing of Scholia. Scholia were drinking songs sung by symposiants. In turn, participants would pass around a sprig of laurel or myrtle. Whoever held the sprig would start singing, then pass it suddenly to another person who would do their best to continue the song. Ah, I've witnessed a game like that. And then if you can't pass it on, you take a drink, right? Right? The red figure cup. You mean the red cup? The American red cup? That reminds me of how during filming of The African Queen, everyone caught disappearing due to contaminated water except for Humphrey Bogart, who drank whiskey the whole time. See? It still works. It's still absolutely tried and tested. Why can't we have singing battles and getting sloshed in modern symposiums? All we get today is boring lectures. You need the right friend group. Like I said, I have witnessed something along those lines, and it's wonderful. It is human whimsy at its best.
The Pyrgos, or upper stories, was the women's quarter of the house, where they could pursue their activities and observe the city without being seen themselves. The rooftops were also used in a special rite called the Adonia, a private celebration held in honor of Adonis, which was reserved for women. At the beginning of spring, women filled terracotta pots with soil and lettuce seeds, then climbed a ladder to place the pots on the rooftop. These pots served as the women's very own Gardens of Adonis.
The Adonia festival was linked closely to the myth of Adonis, a mortal who was beloved by the goddess Aphrodite. Where's my mouse? I like to follow along with my mouse. Oh. Ah, there it is. After incurring Artemis's wrath, Adonis was killed by a boar, and from his spilled blood bloomed flowers. The commemoration of Adonis's tragic death was central to the Adonia celebration. The participating women danced, sang, and ritually mourned Adonis by setting pots of plants on their rooftops, and that quickly germinated and withered. Because of this, the phrase Gardens of Adonis was often used probately by Greeks to describe something trivial and wasteful. After the rooftop ceremony, the woman descended into the streets for a funeral procession. When the procession was over, they buried small statues of the gods, then celebrated by drinking wine and playing games. Sounds like a great excuse for a thingy. Bryony, are you getting any desire to grow plants in pots on your roof? No. I have some plants in pots on my windowsill, and it's a miracle they're still alive. Proverbs, Bryony. Probability. Ah, I'm not smart. I'm not smart, and that's okay. You don't have to be smart to learn. In fact, it's easier to learn if you're not smart.
I hope you now have a better understanding of the routines and home life of the Greek people.
I
What would you like to do next?
Quiz me, woman.
Then
Quiz.
let's start with a simple question. Which group of people celebrated the Adhonia?
The women.
Correct. The Adhonia was celebrated by women of all stations. Let's move on to the next question. Which of the following was known as the protector of the household?
Zeus. Oh. There's two Zeuses. I mean, Apollo technically was two. This one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Zeus Herkios protected the household, and an altar to the
Right into
god
VTuber, not
usually
a smart
stood
tuber.
in the
Yes.
center of the house's
But
courtyard.
we're learning tuba.
On to the final question. Which of the following was not located in the bathroom?
That's the loo. Mirrors are in there. I think it's this one.
Correct.
Yeah!
The Klivanos was a mobile oven usually found in the kitchen. It seems you really know your way around Greek homes.
I do!
Well done, Wanderer.
That's all for now. We don't have that much time left.
Farewell, Wanderer.
I need to
and
be pretty
thank you
snappy
for
on
visiting my
finishing the
city.
stream today. But look at there's 11 tours to do. There's loads to do. Let's go. Gremlin of a roll. I mean, to Greece. Let's go. No, we're not having one more tour. We don't have time for another tour. I'm really sorry. Like I said, I gotta be snappy today. We can go find some discovery spots though. Maybe we can find a horse. Maybe, because, I mean, it said something about a mount. Do I have the ability to call a mount? Daily life wine. Daily life. Politics. What are the other ones? Let's just have a look what there is. So you got the Olympic Games, School of Greece Music, Knossos. Ooh. Learn about Minoan civilization. As well as the mythological labyrinth. And the Minotaur dwelling within. Ooh. I know, right? We've got like 15 minutes left. It's wild. Like, 2 hours goes so fast. I can see why a lot of people tend to stream a lot longer because it's so easy to lose track of time. We have a good time. Speaking of Hunces, have you seen the gacha game with the... Who has not seen it? Of course I've seen the gacha game with the Hunces. Custom cribs. Theater and Gods and Love. I have not played the gacha with the horse girls, but I've heard so much about the gacha with the horse girls. So we got the Acropolis of Athens, Mycene, a place that was in ruins even in time of antiquity. Ooh. Gods of Olympia. Because I like this, it got the estimated time to go through and things. We've done 2. So we've probably taken a bit longer than it expected, because I'm reading shit out loud, to be fair. So you can add probably about 10 minutes onto each of these estimated. I'm recovering gacha game addict. I'm in danger. Don't do it then, Paper. Stay away. Stay away. The horse girls are not worth it. Did someone say Hans girls? They crashed the website that allows you to donate grass to raise horses. Oh my god, of course they did. The Agroba Athens. The Oracle of Delphi. I'd be interested in that one too. Oh, Asclepios. I know him from Grand Order. He's Apollo's kid. He tries to bring back... He wants to cure death, if I remember correctly. Battles and wars. So, Spartan education. Battle of Marathon. Explore Marathon, the site of one of the Greeks' most famous battles against the Persians. Is that the 300? Thermopylae, obviously. Battle of Amphilos and battles of Pylus and mustard ate grass to horses. Mustard ate grass to horses. I love it. It's great. It's so silly. Of all the ones that we got in the daily life, so we got wine, the life of Greek women, bronze in Argos, perfume, Laurian silver mines, wheat and agriculture, pottery in Athens, dying in fashion. Sorry, I thought I meant dying as in like death. And then I was like, wait, what? Why are these two things together? And we got some more. We got the blacksmith. So we can get some different horses. We can get a pale horse. Oh, okay. So how can I summon my mount? Call eagle. Oh, I can call the eagle. Burp! I didn't know I could do this. Oh, so he can like track stuff for me, and I can go, oh look, there's stuff over there, and then I can set a marker for it. Left trigger station. No, it's right trigger for boost. Left trigger station is outside. Burial rites were fashion statements of the deck, true. Maybe I can't call my horse in a city. It said left D-pad, right? Yeah. No, down. Okay. There was an equipped torch. Horsey! Yay! Come here, horsey. Yay! We have a horsey. Hello, people of Greece. I have a horse. Oh, look, a second. Who do you think that is? It's got a snake, but it's only one snake. I think it's the... maybe a harvest? Yeah! No, not in the water. There we go. Ooh, look at that! Oh. More games need to do this, so just let me look around their map. Let me just admire your work, 3D artist. Let me just look around. Let me just explore and live. Hello, everyone! Small child on a horse coming through. Oh, hello, friend. Let me just look at these wonderful works. No, that water did look a little bit yellow. Ooh, look tough, man. I don't even know where. Oh, I'm in Athens still. A lot of it's in Athens, but the map's a lot bigger than Athens. We got Corinthia, Acadia. So we got agriculture over there. Ellis. It's big. It's real big. Have I got a boat? Lots to do. Lots to look out for. Currently, I think we're in Athens Poor District? Question mark? It doesn't look that nice. It's gone from being like quite cool to quite not. Why is that just... why is this here? Ooh, we found the city gate. Let's go! That water doesn't look good. They have irrigation systems, but it's not doing great. Oh, hi, Artemis! Ikros. Oh, that's the verb. Oh, okay. Ikros is the verb. Is there anything else about the controls I don't know? There was something about a torch. Equip torch, parkour, look, climb down, first person view. Okay. I think... oh gosh. I am gonna call it that. Let's just watch the bird fly. While I tell you, thank you so much for coming to the stream. I really appreciate it. I had a good time. I hope you had a good time. Thank you everyone in chat. Thank you anyone who looked. Thank you anyone who watched the vlog. I really appreciate you coming. Hope you enjoyed, no matter which way you decide to enjoy. If you have not already, I would highly appreciate Also, if you could leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, that would be lovely. And if you're on Twitch, if you give the channel a cheeky little follow, that'd be great. If you've done all that, join the Discord. That's also a great way to keep updated on what I've been doing. All of my streaming assets are also, there are links to everything I use on the Discord. I am also on Blue Sky as well. What else? And then it is shilling time. And I hope you stay around for just a wee bit of shilling. I have an audiobook. Go search Bryony Rose Smith on Amazon and you'll find books and audiobooks. And you should buy some. There's also a YouTube membership where you can get things. Like I said, for the exclusive streams, I'm thinking about something else. I'm thinking about giving you guys the chance to vote for a game a game or even an activity or something to crochet. Anything really. Like, basically anyone who's paying me money could give me a suggestion on something, and then maybe we'll vote on what we want, and then that way you guys get me out of my shell, play some things I don't normally play, do some things maybe I don't normally do. Maybe that's something we can do. But other than that, you get emotes, Discord channel merch discounts. Patreon, you get short stories, merch discounts, free books. With both membership and Patreon, you do get a free game, which is Little Red and the Baba Yaga, where it is a visual novel that I wrote that has over 60 endings, I think it was. There is the Kofi, where if you like my emotes, you can commission me to draw some. And last but not least is my merch store, where you can get ebooks, first edition copies of the books that I've written, bookmarks, notebook, pillow, crochet potatoes. And that reminds me, that wasn't the last thing. Last thing is my Etsy store, where I have other crochet goods. But other than that, once again, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Everyone say cheese! Wonderful. Great expressions on that photo. I love giving you no time to recover for your photos. Yeah. I will see you guys on Sunday, and we will read about some Pompeii. But until then, I had fun. I hope you had fun. This has been Bryony Rose Smith, Live in the Forbidden Library. Goodbye!